Hi, Matt Stait again from the Festival of Martial Arts. And today I've got with me Amazonia Krav Maga. So Claire, Jessica, hi, thanks for coming along.
Hello. Hello.
Hi. So we tend to start these things the same way, which is if you could just give us a brief overview of who you are and what you do, just for the people that may not have heard of you.
Okay, well, we're Amazonia Krav Maga. We started in July 2021, so we'll be coming up for our second birthday soon. My name's Jess. I'm 50% of Amazonia. And I'm Claire. I'm the other 50%. Terrible twosome. So we teach in Manchester, in two places, Copley Leisure Centre, which is up towards the hills in the countryside, and then we teach down in Prestwich, at the Maccabee Centre. We teach in the Jewish community there. So very, very busy.
Okay, yeah, fabulous. So has it always been Krav Maga that you guys do? And so what started you on your individual sort of journeys?
Yeah, it's always been Krav Maga. We only got into this when we were 43, so 7 years ago. And my reasons for starting it were based around a good friend of mine was in a very abusive, pretty horrific relationship, and her ex-partner had a real problem with me in terms of you know, my friendship with her and all the rest of it. Anyway, long and short of it was, I felt that I was put in a situation. I'm not going to embellish because it's a bit of a tale. I was put in a situation where I was actually quite frightened, and it dawned on me that, you know what, I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know what to do if this situation escalated, which I had concerns that it was going to. So I just thought, I need to do something. So I took up Krav Maga. Well, I saw a sign in a local gym for a Krav Maga lesson, and it had this big poster, and it was, learn how to protect yourself, learn self-confidence, and get in shape, and stay safe, all those kind of strap lines. And I was like, right, well, that's something I could get involved in. So I went along to it one Saturday morning, totally unprepared, and that was 7 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since.
Fantastic. And
yeah, mine was completely a different story. Nothing quite so involved as that. I literally went to the gym where Jess saw the sign. I was a regular member of the gym, did different things. And one day there was a sign in the ladies' changing room, and it was a woman. I tried different classes, Zumba and Pilates and different things, and enjoyed them. But there was this sign in the gym with a woman, and she had a man in a headlock. And I just thought, I want to do that. That's what I want to do.
okay.
I went to the first class, and that was it. Was hooked ever since. That's where we met. We didn't know each other before then. I walked into my first class, and the guy that was taking the class said, right, that's who you're sparring with, and pointed to Clare. And I was like, I'm not fighting her. Just scary looking lady. And I did, and we've been inseparable ever since, pretty much. And then that's how Amazonia was born. We became instructors in February 2021.
Okay, yeah, because you guys are you're like the Ant and Dec of the martial arts world, aren't you, really?
Yeah, pretty much.
We tend to see you guys together all the time. So what prompted starting your own club then? Because obviously there's a big difference between training for enjoyment and becoming instructors and taking that route. So what prompted you to do that?
Yeah, well, you say, and then I'll add on to it. So basically, we saw that there was a huge, because female Krav Maga instructors are pretty much like unicorns. We're a very rare species, as in like literally don't exist half the time. And there's a huge disparity of male Krav Maga instructors to female Krav Maga instructors. Now, well, all the male Krav Maga instructors that we've met have been brilliant. I mean, along this journey that we're on and still on, we've met some fantastic guys, yourself included, and we've just had such a huge input of information and help and guidance and training.
And
yeah, loads of support. You've been brilliant.
People really kind of advocates for us, you know. So it's really been and really for us an amazing journey, you know, that people have had that commitment to Amazonia and to us, and you know, encouraged us, supported us. But it's like Jess said, there was a huge gap in female instructors, and we, you know, we recognise that. So, you know, women come into classes where it's lots of men throwing each other around a room, and you know, it's quite intimidating, you know, walking into that kind of environment, especially if you have had experiences and you have got triggers and things have happened, because people come to Krav Maga classes retrospectively of something happening to them. You know, they usually don't come thinking, you know, like you did, thinking I need to be able to look after myself and do something. A lot of the time, females will come to classes because something has happened to them already. So, you know, it was a real passion of ours to kind of empower women and encourage them and build confidences, and, you know, a lot of the psychological side of it around violence, you know, not just the physical combative things as well.
We teach from a totally different perspective as well. We come at it from a different angle, because we also have female students, we have male students, and we're very, very grateful for our male students. Actually, you know, we're super supportive of them, because we need the male contingent. It should be a good mix of the two. You need the male contingent, because if you're teaching a woman how to defend herself, 9 times out of 10, without wanting to issue a blanket statement here, it's going to be a man that attacks her. You know, yeah, you'll get females attacking females, but that's generally a hen party that's gone very wrong. You know, it's going to be a male attacking a female. So, in order for them to get that as near as damn it experience, and they need to understand that strength-wise, height-wise, size-wise, muscular structure, everything, anatomy and physiology, everything is bigger and stronger. You get the odd exception to the rule, but they need to have that, you know, in the pressure tested, and the, you know, we do certain drills. They have to have that resistance, otherwise we're sending them out into the world. And for us to say to women, right, okay, what we're going to teach you is it's going to be brilliant. It's going to be the cure all, fix all for everything. You're going to be able to go out there and defend yourself against, you know, a guy your size, Matt. Now, you know, you're a big, strong guy. For us to say that to women, that's massively irresponsible, and it's dangerous. We would never do that. So we're coming at it from a very realistic point of view. And like Claire said, because we're women teaching it, we get the female students, or any seminars or anything that where we teach women, and they're looking at us and going, "Whoa, hang on a minute! If those two can do it at, you know, their age, like 50 and nearly 50, we can do it." And actually, that empowers them even further, because we're not, you know, we're not super young, we're not super athletic, we're not, you know, we're not guys, and it's reassuring that we can do it, they can also do it. So
yeah, no, it's a really interesting point, because it's something that I feel very strongly about, but unfortunately not everybody feels the same. And that is, you know, one of the biggest issues with single sex classes, especially when it comes to women's self-defense kind of stuff, is the reality of the psychology of the situation. And I don't care how much you bounce around in a sports hall with friends pretending, that all goes to pot in the real world. And most of the issues that surround a lot of women's self-protection will be situations where they're, I mean, severely under mental distress as well, which is very hard to look at at any level. Is very hard to look at, but in a single sex environment even more so. So it's great that you're you're addressing that and looking at that from a point of view of the reality of the world and what people face. So on that note, I think I remember seeing recently you were advertising a seminar for dog walkers. Is that correct?
Yeah.
How is that different to everybody else? I'm dying to know.
What do you mean? How is it different to everybody else? How is what different?
Well, you've specifically said it's for dog walkers.
Right. So
are we going to be learning how to garrot people with leads and things like that?
Why not? Let's do that. Why not? Let's do it. Everything's a weapon. No, it comes from basically, I've just started a new job, and part of my job is I walk through gorgeous dogs every morning. And as I'm out with this dog, and I'm out at 7 a.m. every morning, and it's fairly quiet and peaceful, but sometimes I go out later depending on what my work day dictates. And what I've noticed is the amount of lone female dog walkers. Where I live is very rural, so on canal banks, river banks, up in the forest. Not a lone female dog walkers, and for all intents and purposes, they're totally unaware. They're clueless. They've got their earbuds in and the hood up, and they're on the phone, and they don't even know where the dog is half the time. And I just thought, you know what, this could be something that we could help with. And not just this, from that will be an offshoot of doing one for female lone runners, because there's a lot of runners, people out jogging. And it's going to be just a 2-hour seminar. We're going to look at mostly the awareness, the situational awareness, the keeping yourself aware as to what's going on, looking at what you're carrying, looking at what you can use. It's a term you've probably heard of, EDC, which is an everyday carry. You could have a dog lead, and you've got a dog lead because it's part of what you've got, and you're out running, you're out with your dog. Use it if you have to use it. But before all that, you've got your awareness of looking around to see who's approaching you. We do a training drill with voice. We do a voice drill, because it's the one weapon you've got with you at all times is your voice.
Lots of women don't access that when something happens to them, because they just freeze, and the vocal cords, it just closes, and they can't use that weapon. And psychologically, if somebody is attacked, a female, if they've done something about it, if they fought back, they've screamed, they've shouted, they've done something, then the aftermath and the recovery is so much better than them not doing anything at all. If they, because they will then blame themselves. I didn't scream, I didn't shout, I didn't fight back. So if we can give them, these tools and this, and a lot of what we do as well, like Jess said about situation awareness in your environment and everyday carries, and we talk about your mindset and the mindset of actually becoming, rather than just being the victim, is like, flicking a switch and becoming the aggressor to do something to get home safely. So we do focus a lot on mindset, because people need to access that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and there's a there's a growing concern for things like dog thefts and things as well, isn't there? So again, it's something that if it helps empower people, and great. So that brings us on to what is it you're going to be presenting at the festival? Do you have an idea yet? Have you got an idea of what you're going to be bringing to the mats, or is it open-ended?
It's going to be fairly open-ended. It's going to be, people are going to come to us and sort of say, right, so how would you get out of this? Yeah, but what if this happens? And a lot of what we do is principle-based teaching. So we learned this way of teaching down in Cambridge last year. Went down to Cambridge University for a 4-day course, and it was that was hugely enlightening. And that taught us about principle-based teaching. And that was, so you have a technique, and it's all very great, and on paper it's brilliant, and when you play it out and the person is acquiescent and it all works, and that's great. What if it doesn't? What if it doesn't work? Then what? And what we found with a lot of Krav Maga instructors is they don't have a then what. It's like, well, of course it'll work if you do it right. Yeah, but if it doesn't? What if it's raining? What if I'm cold? What if I'm tired? What if I'm disorientated or fatigued? Or what if the clothing I'm wearing or the footwear I'm wearing doesn't lend itself to doing a perfect technique like that? What if it doesn't work? So a lot of ours is principle-based teaching. So it's going to be, so you find yourself in a situation, it hasn't worked. Let's look at what we do next. So a lot of it's going to be, I'm not going to say free for all, but it'll be just, let's work through this together. And what we do with our students as well is we unpack stuff. So if they say, yeah, but this hasn't worked for me, okay, well, why not? Let's look at it. Why hasn't it worked for you and it can work for that person? So it's going to be very open-ended. We're going to be looking at a lot of female safety, aren't we? You know,
Yeah.
in terms of like grabs, hair pulls. I'm not going to say basic, but the stuff that a lot of women experience: choke holds, break wrist grabs, grabs from behind, a lot of head work, because you know an attack. Oh God, you got me on one now. I'm just gonna walk on a tangent. Yeah, so go, bring it back.
It's like you said, you know, we can be in a classroom in a safe environment and be training techniques and training, but then in real life, it all goes to pot. You know, it's completely different. So it's about, you know, that muscle memory of this hasn't worked. I've done it wrong, and that's it. It's no, think what have you got now? What's presented to you? What can you use to get yourself out of this situation?
Yeah, again, it sounds interesting that those explorations like that are usually a great way to find sort of answers, and again, because it's a cross-discipline event and lots of different people from lots of different styles all going to come together, those foundational principles that go across all the different elements that's a great thing to look at and a great thing to build on. So sounds ideal, sounds great, sounds really interesting. Now, between now and then, if people want to reach out and speak to you, how can they find you?
We've got a Facebook page, Amazonia Krav Maga. We're on Instagram as well, aren't we?
Yeah. It's the same, Amazonia Krav Maga. So all our contact details are on there.
Okay, fabulous.
Process of building a website as well, but it's
work in progress.
Work in progress. Yeah,
right.
we're just really, really busy. So trying to get, because we're doing seminars as well, corporate seminars and community seminars, and we're just time. We're just going to try and find it, because this isn't our full-time job. This is our passion and our say hobby, but we work as well. So it's just finding the time. But yeah, the website is under construction, but generally speaking, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll stick the link into the description as well for the Facebook page, and thank you ever so much for coming along.
You are welcome. Thanks for having us.